What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports back again with another one. I'm gonna do a quick post-fight analysis of Deontay Wilder obliterates Dominic Breazeale. Man, one hitter quitter. They call that boy. Not only call Deontay Wilder the bronze bomber, but they ought to call him one hitter quitter. Deontay one hitter quitter Wilder. Man, that was a highlight reel knockout, man. He just adds to his collection of highlight reel knockouts. You know, he knocked out Bermain Stavern in the same highlight reel fashion, man, in the same arena in Barclays. He had a devastating knockout of Luis Ortiz in a candidate for Fight of the Year, man. He's put on some great performances here at the Barclays Center, Man, a great performance, man. He was able to use that jab early on in the first round, man. The jab set up everything, man. He was using that jab, man, and he hurt Dominic Breazeale early in the first round with an overhand right, man. He had Dominic Breazeale doing a stinky leg, man. He went in for the kill, and Dominic Breazeale, a game opponent, man, a guy that does have a lot of heart, fought back and swung a couple of wild punches to get Deontay Wilder to back off, and Dominic, get him to back off and kind of give himself a temporary reprieve from death row, basically, man. He got himself how the governor gives you a temporary reprieve, saying some new developments, and we're not going to execute you this day. We're going to give you a temporary reprieve, and that's all it was like a 10-15 second reprieve for the inevitable that was going to come down on Dominic Breazeale, and Wilder was able to once again establish that jab and came with that overhand right. Bam! Lights out. One hitter quitter. Down goes Breazeale. Down goes Breazeale. Down goes Breazeale. Like in my Howard Cosell voice, it's like down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Breazeale. Down goes Breazeale. Man, a great performance by Deontay Wilder. JB Sports been telling you guys that he's the #1 heavyweight in the world. You see a lot of these so-called boxing experts, Teddy Atlas, and even Max Kellerman. They'll say, well, we believe Anthony Joshua is the #1 heavyweight. Simple fact that he has more awesome. He has more weapons. He's got more tools in his toolbox than Deontay Wilder. He's more technically sound. He looks the part, big, strong. Weight, look like he's a weightlifter. Look like he could be going for the Mr. Olympia's title. He looks the part. But that's all well and good. It all looks good. But Deontay Wilder is the #1 heavyweight. The guy's got life-changing power, man. When he catches you with that right hand or even with the left hook, man, it's lights out. He told you guys after the Tyson Fury fight, you've got to be perfect for 12 rounds. He just got to be perfect for 2 seconds. One hitter quitter. You know what I'm saying? You can't make one mistake. And that's what happened with Dominic Breazeale, man. He dropped his left hand when Deontay Wilder hit him with that left jab. He kind of dropped that left hand, and I guess that jab that Wilder threw kind of mesmerized him, the left jab, and he kind of dropped his left hand, and Wilder came over the tight with a devastating right hand and put Dominic Breazeale to sleep, man. Just a great fight, man. Great performance. This guy has got to be the most devastating heavyweight puncher in boxing history. I put him above all the great heavyweight punchers. Before Deontay Wilder came along, man, I thought it was a debate out they asked who was the hardest hitting heavyweight of all time. I thought you had a good argument out of Ernest Shavers, Mike Tyson, and probably George Foreman. And I thought maybe, just on pure power, I thought Ernest Shavers probably was the hardest hitting heavyweight that I seen. But Deontay Wilder has passed him, man. Deontay Wilder is the hardest hitting heavyweight in boxing history. I put him even over Ernest Shavers and over Mike Tyson and George Foreman. The guy's just a devastating puncher. You never see even Mike Tyson, man. He had devastating punches, but he usually had to put punches together, uppercut, right combination, and then get you out of there. But just one single punch that put the people out the game that easy, knocking people out, turning people lights out. You know what I'm saying? With one punch, it's not a better devastating puncher in the history of boxing than Deontay Bronze Bomber Wilder. Yeah, I just wanted to give you a quick synopsis on my first thoughts on of the fight, man. It was a great performance by Deontay Wilder. Dominic Breazeale, man, he has nothing to hold his head down, man. He just got caught, man, with a shot that he didn't see. He lost to a better fighter. You know, it still fights for him to you know, get out there and fight, man. He just as far as him fighting for a title, those days may be over. You know, he can still make money fighting second tier guys. You know, guys like Dylan White. You know, Andy Ruiz has come up short against Joshua. Andy Ruiz, Charles Martin. You know, guys like that, man. He can still fight those guys, man, and you know, make money, man, if that's what he chooses to do, man. But he's just not on the elite level, man. There's 3 elite heavyweights out there right now. You know, as far as rankings go, I put Deontay Wilder number 1, Fury number 2. Well, I say it's 4 elite heavyweights. Fury number 2, Luis Ortiz number 3, and Anthony Joshua number 4, and then Dylan White rounded out at number 5. But to me, it's 4 elite heavyweights out there right now, with Dylan White, you know, leading that second tier up under those 4, in Wilder, Fury, Joshua, and Ortiz. So, you know, we'll you know, so that's just what it is, man. That's just what it is, man. Just a beautiful performance by Deontay Wilder, man. He didn't rush that right hand. You know, it was just like night and day. You look at the Tyson Fury fight, man. He was telegraphing that right hand. He was still a step before he threw the right hand. Fury saw it coming from a mile away. He saw it coming from 10 miles away, basically, and he was able to duck it and get Deontay Wilder to miss. And Wilder was finally able to stop telegraphing it, and he was able to drop him in that 12th round, along with, I think, fatigue that kind of took its toll on Fury too, man, as he was you know, he's fighting at a high level for 12 rounds, coming off of 2 basically sparring matches and a lot of inactivity before then. But Wilder was able to you know, not telegraph his punch at all in this fight, man. It was just like he was doing when he fought Luis Ortiz and Bermane Stiverne, man. It was he was throwing that right hand, but he was setting it up off the devastating jab, man. That jab was very sharp, very crisp, very precise by Deontay Wilder, man. He looked like he looked before that Fury fight, man. He looked at very sharp, and his punches were devastating. And one thing I liked about Deontay Wilder quiet as kept was he hit Dominic Breazeale with some right hands early in the fight, and Dominic Breazeale shook his head like it didn't hurt him. But what I think Dominic failed to really realize was Wilder was not really stepping into the right hand. He was just touching him with that right hand. He was just letting him know this right gonna be coming. As long as you can last, this right hand is gonna be coming your way. And he threw that right hand, but he didn't throw it with. He was changing speeds on it. Basically, what I'm saying, you know, a lot of Wilder fights, he throws that right hand with bad intentions, and he throws it the same way, and he throws it hard. And he throws it with concussive power. He throws it the same miles per hour, put it like that. But I think he did a good job of, okay, you know, like a pitcher did. He said, I'm gonna throw you I'm gonna throw this right hand, and I'm gonna throw it and shake you up and let you know and let you think about this right hand. And I'm gonna throw this right hand again and connect with you and wobble you. But then this one that I'm gonna knock you out with, I'm gonna really put my back into it. I'm gonna really throw it with a mean intention. I'm gonna throw it with more miles per hour and more velocity. And he was able to knock Breazeale out. I think Breazeale shook his head like, oh man, this right hand ain't what they was talking about. Everybody was talking about this right hand is devastating. He hit me a couple of times. I shook my head like it didn't hurt. It's not what they said. But he didn't know that Wilder was setting him up. Wilder was changing speed on him. He was just touching him with that right hand early in the first round. But then he upped the miles per hour on that right hand, and then he put him to sleep. Lights out. One hitter quitter. Deontay Wilder. Great performance by Deontay Wilder. Quick thing on Gary Russell, man. Mr. Gary Russell. He looked good, man. He fought a guy that was not on his level, but he looked real good, man. Still got the speed. That jab was very effective. He was hitting them with right hands. He was hitting them with uppercuts, and he put on a beautiful boxing exhibition with Kiko Martinez, man. He cut him in, I think, the 3rd or 4th round. He cut Martinez. I think he cut him with either with that jab. I think that jab that was jabbing, man. He kept punching, hitting him in that jab, in that left eye with the right jab. And no, he hit him. I think it was in the left eye, because he switched up, man. Great. You know, one thing about Gary Russell, man, he's a great switch hitter, man. Southpaw fighter, and he switched it up, man. As he was actually was using that right jab, man. He was beating him in the southpaw stance. hitting him with the right jab and coming over the tight with the left hand, and then catching him with the right hand, and then catching him with the right uppercut. One thing he did in this fight, Gary Russell, was he kind of threw what you call like a half uppercut. When he threw the right uppercut, he threw like a half uppercut and a half right hook. You might well call it a hooker cup. I ain't never seen that thrown where it would look like it was a half uppercut and a half right hook, and he landed that on Kiko Martinez, man. That's something I didn't, you don't see in boxing, man. That guy, he put on a beautiful performance, man. But enough of these journeymen, enough of these C-level fighters. It's time for Gary Russell to get in there with the elite of the elite, man. He called out Leo Santa Cruz on the back of his shirt. He said, "Is Leo next? Come on, Al." Basically telling Al to make the fight. He had that on the back of his jersey. Basically telling Al, and I'm gonna paraphrase. Basically he was telling Al, make the fight. He said on the back of his shirt, I can't remember the exact word, but I think it said, "Is Leo next? Come on, Al." Like, I'm ready for unification at the featherweight division. So hopefully that'll be the big fight that'll be made next. Maybe we get that fight in the fall, and that'll be a tremendous matchup between two great fighters and two fighters that's probably top 15 pound for pound. So it'll be a good matchup, man. But Leo Santa Cruz needs to step up to the plate to make that fight, because Gary Russell's been calling them out for a long time. Leo Santa Cruz don't have an opponent lined up, so they should be able to make that fight for the fall. So hopefully get done. But a good performance by Gary Russell. In the first fight, I'm gonna do a quick synopsis on the first fight. You had Mendez against Hidalgo. He was a Floyd Mayweather fighter, TMT fighter. Very, very competitive fight. I had Mendez winning the fight 97-93. Had him winning 7 rounds of 3. I thought he was landing the hardest shots. It was a lot of very close rounds, but I thought he landed the hardest shots. And I thought he was catching Hidalgo with some hard shots. I mean, I thought Hidalgo did a little bit too much holding. He was doing a little bit too much running. But I thought the hardest shots, and the guy that was dictating the pace, and the guy that was trying to make the fight, putting the pressure on Hidalgo, I thought it was Mendez. So I thought he won the fight, man. It was a very close fight, as 2 of the judges had it 95-95, and 1 judge had it like I had it 97-93 for Mendez. Man, it was a good fight. Hopefully they do a rematch so they can settle the score and find out who is the best out of those 2 guys. But it was a solid fight. Not a lot of action, but a very fight that was 2 fighters that were very evenly matched, and both guys had their moments. So I just hopefully they'll do it again. But what Hidalgo got to do is, man, he's got to quit backing up, man. He's fighting off the back foot too much. And when he did get in the ring, he was kind of like in it. You could tell he was well schooled under the Mayweather boxing camp, whatever. He was well schooled as far as fighting in Mayweather gym, fighting under TMT. You could tell he got a lot of tutelage under Floyd Mayweather. He was in that crab shell defense that Mayweather's known to do, and he was able to use that jab, and he was able to catch Mendez with an overhand right. But I think his problem was that Mendez was walking him down, man. Mendez was walking him down, putting pressure on him, and Mendez was able to hit him with overhand rights and left hooks, man, a lot in that fight, man. I thought that was the reason why Mendez won the fight, man. But it was a good competitive fight. Hopefully they do it again. But that's just JB Sports quick synopsis on the fight tonight. Once again, great performances by Deontay Wilder. If you ask me what's going to be the next fight, I think it's going to be Luis Ortiz. They're going to do a pay-per-view fight sometime in the fall, maybe September, October. I think that's the likely matchup for Deontay Wilder, and that should be a tremendous performance, man. But I think Wilder knocks Luis Ortiz out earlier. I think he stopped him within the 8th round. What was it? I know it was the second half of the fight in the first fight. I think in the rematch, man, I think it's gonna be a good fight. I think Luis Ortiz is gonna put up a battle. He's gonna have his moments, but I think actually Deontay Wilder is gonna stop him earlier than he did in the first fight. I think he's going to stop him early, because I think Ortiz is a little bit older. He's not as fresh as he was in the first fight, and I think Wilder fighting him the first time is going to have a better reading on Ortiz and his southpaw stance. He'll be able to deal with it more, and I just think Wilder is going back to the basics, man, basics. And that jab is hard to penetrate through, and that right hand is well disguised, man. He disguising him. He's not stutter stepping like he was doing in the in a Fury fight. And I think once he catches Luis Ortiz, it's gonna be lights out, man. Luis Ortiz is gonna get knocked out in the first half of that fight. I don't think that fight go past 7 rounds. Man, I'm looking for that fight gets stopped in maybe the 6th round, 6th round knockout for Wilder. That's just my early thoughts on that fight if it takes place. But we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. But that's the most likely fight for Wilder. Wilder Ortiz 2 rematch, and it's gonna be on pay-per-view. The venue. Maybe they have it in the Barclays Center. Maybe they have it in AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas. Wilder was talking with Jerry Jones at the Errol Spence versus Michael Garcia fight. He was talking with Jerry Jones, and maybe they was discussing maybe a future fight. And he was saying that they asked him about that afterwards. He said he wouldn't mind fighting in Jerry's World Stadium. He wouldn't mind fighting at AT&T Stadium. Maybe they can make that fight. That could be a potential fight. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying it's gonna be there, but maybe they make that fight there, or maybe they put it back in Barclays, or maybe they put it in Las Vegas. I think Jerry Jones AT&T Stadium is gonna get a big fight. If it's not Wilder Ortiz 2 rematch on pay-per-view, maybe it's Triple G versus Canelo Alvarez 3 in AT&T Stadium. I think that stadium is going to get a big fight sometime this year. It just depends on what fight it gets. Maybe it gets both of the fights, but I think it gets a big fight, man. One of those 2 fights. Don't be surprised if it's at AT&T Stadium. Triple G, Canelo 3, or Wilder Ortiz 2. We'll see what happens, man. Just my opinion on the situation, and we'll see what happens. I'm about to get up out of here, man. Give me a little rest. Get ready to lay it down. Get ready for tomorrow, Sunday. I got one day before I got to get back at it at work, man. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.